Well, welcome back to the OVC Media Day basketball coverage. Evans, Indiana, Harry Schrader with you, ValleyHoopsInsider.com, live on YouTube and on Twitter. Glad to be in Evansville today. And the UT Martin folks are here. Head coach Ryan Ritter is here. We've gotten to talk a handful of times. Excited about that. AJ Simons exploded on the scene a year ago for the Skyhawks. First of all, welcome to Evansville. It's probably your first media day, isn't it? Because of COVID, they haven't had these before.
It's our first one. We're excited to be here together.
Tell me, do you pay any attention to preseason, rankings and all that? Because you got one magazine that's going to pick you, and one magazine that's going to pick Moorhead, and I'm going to pick, somebody else. And so, do you pay any attention to that, or just use it for bullet board, or not even use it?
I don't think that we put any stock into it, but I think it's reading material. I think it's interesting, I guess, to have the SIDs and coaches pick you versus outside media. But I think at the end of the day, I think we all know exactly what it is. It's preseason speculations, and I know we feel good about our group. I know we're working hard, and whether we're picked first or 10th or 8th, I don't think that really matters the way that we approach our work every day.
With the way it has come about, meaning COVID, you're at Bethune-Cookman, and then you come to UT Martin, and now you've had like a whole nother season to kind of actually implement what you want to do. Do you feel more at home and like we're actually building what I want?
I think so. I think it starts. At the end of the day, any great team has great players, and this is just the truth. When we took over the job last year, we had not seen any recruit live because of COVID, with the exception of KJ. And obviously, I think we felt he's going to be a good player for us, first team all league of the guy that we were able to bring with us to UT Martin. So I think for us, to be able to physically see all of our returners, they got a year under the belt, and then physically see our incoming transfers, I think we feel much different in year two going in. I think, KJ and the guys that are returning understand how we do things, the pace that we want to do it, what's important to our particular program. So I think it's been a huge advantage for us.
You came over with Coach from Bethune-Cookman. What was that decision like? And obviously, you're glad you did it.
Decision was fairly easy. I already trusted him at Bethune, and we sat out. And that year was long and hard. No games, watching everybody play, and just being able to work out. But I think it all worked out for me. I think that year was kind of like my redshirt year, because I really didn't know if I was going to be able to play either, because I still needed a waiver. So I used that time to work out. I worked out with Coach Taylor, like the assistants that was there every day, probably like two, 3 times a day, and got better from it. And I think kind of showed that next year when I came to UT Martin.
So he ends up being all conference and puts on a great year. But in addition to that, was he able to be kind of a little bit of a coach on the floor because he knew what you were looking for?
Well, I get that question kind of a lot, and I think KJ's leadership has grown, no doubt, in the past 2.5 years. But even, KJ had never we never went through a team practice. So our first drill is going on, and guys are kind of looking to, Kay, like, hey, what do we do? And he's like, hey, I've only worked out with him. I've never been in a team setting. So I do think, obviously, him knowing my personality, I think was beneficial. But in terms of team structure, we never had a chance to do that until, really June of 2021.
I know you want to create a family environment. You want your players and your staff to be integrated and close and all of that. What are the kind of intentional things that you do to maybe enhance that?
I think the first thing is just transparent honesty. I think if you ask all these guys, I think they can say, everyone on our staff loves them. I think they believe we're going to tell them the truth. We have major conversations outside of basketball. At the end of the day, I hope he continues to play for as long as he can, but at some point that ball is going to stop. And I think he and his teammates, I think they understand that we're trying to prepare them for life after that. But, we'll do the golf stuff. We do stuff outside of basketball, but I think those all enhance it. But I think there's got to be an internal realness where guys know that you care about them, not just basketball wise.
KJ, how different is it this year having a whole real off-season preparation, time with your teammates and all that? How is it different this year?
I think it's still the same. I think the off season is where you get better at it, and I believe that this summer we got better. We did what we had to do. We put the time in, we put the work in, and sacrificed a lot of stuff just to get to this year. So I think it's all same. Every offseason the same. I think at Bethune it was just a longer offseason.
Talk to me about, you and I talked about this before, and I talked to Parker in the offseason, talk about his addition and what that's all going to look like this year.
Parker, man, that's a ball player right there. I think it's going to be a huge piece to our whole thing right now. Parker, he's a great player. He quiet. He don't say much. He just get it done on the court, and I think it can go either way. Like we got two great players, and I think it's going to show.
Talk about his addition and what it means maybe emotionally to the community.
Well, I think the first thing is obviously you can't describe what the last year and a half, almost 2 years now that he's gone through. So I think the emotions, the up and down days it can be very difficult. And I think for him to be back home with people, his mother, his family that knows, and his community that cares about him, I think is helping in the grieving process. And so I think from that standpoint, it's ever going to give closure, but I do think that he's able to have the emotional support around him in our community because he is so loved there. But I think from the basketball standpoint, the first thing, and I said it at the beginning, the first thing to a great team is great players, and you also want your great players to be great people. And I'll put our two great players, and we've got a team full of them, but our two guys, I think that have been, preseason player of the year and OVC all conference team, they're great people. And I think their teammates get behind that. There's no ego involved. These dudes are committed to doing it together and finding a way for us to be really successful this year.
Talk a little bit about your roster. Tell us about some of the guys that we're going to be hearing about day in and day out.
Well, I think obviously it starts with KJ and Parker, and they're everyone talks about can they coexist. What does that mean? They love each other. I mean, they play really well together. They're roommates. Like they got real relationships. So I think that's a really good thing. But I think in terms of our returners, I think Chris Nix, Kobe Jeffries played a lot of minutes last year for us. I think that was very valuable. Although the scoreboard wasn't what we wanted to do, I think those particular guys have a chance to take a major step. And then I think with the roster addition before our finals from very, very good college basketball programs, Jordan Sears, Des Williams, Ryfin Miguel, and then obviously P being there. Those are four guys that have won at a high level. And then you take a junior college transfer. We were talking about on the way up, Jalen Myers. If he can figure it out right away, he's got a chance to be one of the best players in this league for a time being. So I think we all feel very good about our roster construction. Now, can we figure out how to play together and really compete?
I talked to a coach the other day, and he was telling me about a new guy on his team, and he said, I wasn't sure how he was going to fit, and my players were telling me how good he was. And you're over here going, oh, he's a wild card. Oh, he's going to be good. I mean, the players know, don't they?
Hey, Jalen is a ball player. He's a wild card. And if anything click in there, we're going to be a scary team. a very scary team. Soon as it clicks and by the time March comes, it's gonna be something to watch.
How different will it be this year without Murray, without Belmont, without Austin P? It's a very different league.
We keep hearing that, and the more I really sit down and think about it, I mean, what's different about it? The names. At the end of the day, we wake up, we put our hard hat on, we go to work when we're trying to play our best basketball in March. And means some people or Murray's out or playing SEMO. I don't think we spend a lot of time worrying about who we're playing or what's happening outside of the things we can control. And so, again, is the league transition, every league's transitioning. So for us, it's about finding our way, our ability to play our best basketball going into March, knowing we've got each other's back. And that's been our focus from the day we finalized our roster. And I think it'll be our focus until March, whatever it is that we're playing.
What do you like about your schedule or dislike about it?
Well, first of all, the conference schedule, I love that we're a bus league. Okay, that's really important for our guys' bodies. I think for the regional rivalries, I like that. Non-conference, what I like is we're being challenged by the SEC, ACC, two of the best leagues in the country. But we've also got some very good mid-major teams that are projected to the top of their league. Youngstown, UNC Asheville. And then we've got some home games finally this year. We've got 7 home games in the non-conference with McNeese. Chicago State, Prairie View will be very good. So I think we've got a good mix of really quality mid-major teams. And then we've got, a chance to see two of the best leagues in the country.
I asked him about how he's intentionally trying to do things. Talk about what makes him a guy that you've been in 2 programs now. I mean, we all know the scenarios, but what drew you to him originally, and talk about the type of coach he is.
I think everybody asks me that. I think it's just the trust factor, like he kind of said. He never lies. He never. Everybody, like when we was recruiting, like dads and Rife, and they come to Troy, they was like, "What is he like?" I said, "Whatever he tell you is the truth. He never told me nothing that didn't happen or something that I didn't believe." So, and just him as a coach is just like in the last interview, it's just I don't take him as a coach. I just learned from him. It's like he kind of like I want to say like a big brother or somebody. It's just comfortable. I'm like comfortable around him. I can talk to him every day, and we talk way more than basketball. Like up here, I think we talk about our family more than we was talking about our basketball. It's just something deeper than that.
You're doing life together.
Yeah.
Doing life together. Before I let you go, there's a player, I don't know who it is, there's a player in your roster that at the end of the year, and maybe it's Jalen that you talked about before, that people are going to go, oops, where did he come from? He's the surprise guy on our team.
We just kind of, Jalen Myers is the guy that I think has got tremendous upside. He rebounds it, he shoots it. Can he transition to the Division I level? The answer is yes. How quickly is the question. I'll tell you what, man, it is him, but we've other guys that, I won't be surprised if Des Williams wins us a ball game in February because he scores 21 points and makes big time plays down the stretch. There's just 3, 4, 5, 6 different guys, I think, outside of KJ and Parker that are absolutely capable of helping us take that major step.
Super excited to see you guys in the regular season. That's Ryan Ritter, KJ Simon, UT Martin. Watch out for the Skyhawks. They're going to be really good this year. We'll be back with our next coach in just a minute. You're watching it all live right here on YouTube on ValleyHoopsInsider.com.